Welcome to 11.1 news, season 2 news. Um, we don't have any tuning yet. I'm still expecting tuning, but we gotta get info out somehow. So, what am I supposed to do aside from drink my non-sponsored water? So let's get right into it. This is tier set comparison at equal item level, mind you, equal item level. So the old 4-piece is better than the new 4-piece by 2.6%. 2 plus 2 is technically the best bonus. So what this means is that you will want to get your 2-piece, your new 2-piece, as fast as possible. This is true for both content, single target, and M+. 2 plus 2, really, really strong. Your 4-piece, you need a bunch of item level. 4-piece is really, really bad, just as we've been talking about for the last while. So until there's some tuning happening on the 4-piece, you will want to go to 2 plus 2 as soon as possible. Any item level, as long as it's 2 plus 2. And then the new 4-piece, you will need at least 30 item levels on the pieces that are getting replaced. So if you, for example, are replacing your shoulder and your hands in order to make the 4-piece, they need to be 30 item levels higher than the old 2-piece that you're replacing. So with Mythic track, that ends up being around 670, which is the new Myth track. It's really bad, and I'm hoping that there's tuning. Anyways, going into our single target stuff. Nothing really changed. All the same talents, all the same everything. Gear-wise, it's basically all the same stuff. Ascendance, Writhing Band is 0.2% better. You can play Dawn Thread still. You can craft your wrists instead of your boots. All of these things are still kind of all the same. Nothing really has changed here. All the stuff that was good in Season 1 is still good in Season 2, because no tuning. Now, you will notice that we have the Circlet still on, and the next tab is going to go over that. But all you need to know is, again, same stats. This is a crit-heavy neck, tier pieces. Nothing really going on. Replacing the chest because the chest is high versatility. And this is crit masked, so that's better. Haste mastery, crit mastery, right? Like all of the usual stuff. Not a lot of verse. There's like a bit of verse here and a bit of verse here, but aside from that, there's not really much there. This is the only special item that we have. It is the Jastor Diamond. Right now it is still bugged as all hell. But in theory, it's just a ring that gives you bonus stats, and it has haste and mastery on it, which are 2 really good stats. So this is just best in slot. And the bonus itself is actually quite good. Like the extra stat on the equip effect is quite good. Only problem, of course, it's rare, and it's bugged, and it's weird. I assume it's all going to get fixed, so just keep that in mind. So before we go over the Circlet comparison, let's just look at trinkets. Eye of Kazan is crazy. This is a lot of agility. Also does some fire damage. And then House of Cards is our generic on-use thing. It is 1 minute 30, but again, you can just macro this to your death mark, and it's perfectly fine. Nothing really going on here. It's just very generic mastery on use. You can see some other stuff here, of course. Eye of Kazan everywhere. Sephorium Pacemaker, right? Gives you critical chance every 60 seconds. Cool. For like almost 30 seconds. It's pretty good, pretty long. High uptime. This is just damage, split damage between enemies. You got some other stuff here. Haste that ramps. It's whatever. We all know the trinkets. There's nothing special here. There's nothing weird here. There's no transmitter trinket. There's no nothing. It's just the old delve trinkets. This summons some adds that do a little bit of damage, but all fairly standard stuff. And this is true in M+ as well. We just play Eye of Kazan because it's huge agility, and we play a mastery on use because of course we do. So, same thing here, all normal stuff. And now here's where it gets weird. Because the Circlet is 1% better than any alternative. Any alternative. I tested all the rings. Now what this means is we will lose damage because they are going to nerf this. Blizzard once again did the classic of saying, oh, it's going to be roughly equal to the item level of heroic gear. And then it was too weak. And then they buffed it. And now it's like Gigabis. It's legitimately equal to like a 700 item level ring. So that's cool. But they're going to nerf it, just like they nerfed the same ring from last expansion 2 years ago. History repeats itself. So this will get nerfed, and we'll probably just play a crit mastery ring or something, right? Like crit mastery, this is heavy crit haste. Like we'll play one of these, crit haste, crit mastery. It'll be whatever, right? But for now, this is really, really good. Alrighty, M+. These are the talents I simmed. There's a talent comparison below. There's a bunch of stuff. It's all the same. Nothing's changed, right? It's all the same. That is kind of the TLDR of everything. We're still running Circlet, Eye of Kazan, House of Cards, just like we talked about. The weird thing here, the one weird thing, Blessed Weapon Grip is pretty good. You can still play Ascendance. You can still play Double Dawn Thread, right? So you don't need to feel the need. Like if you have Ascendance for your Raid Dagger, you don't need to craft a second dagger. It is technically min-max, but it's min-max by like 0.15% or whatever, right? It's nothing. Same thing as the embellishments for Season 1. I keep repeating myself. It's all the same. It's still the same. I don't know. Talent-wise, nothing really crazy out of this, right? Twist the Knife, Sudden Demise, that's a kind of a point that people have been playing around with, swapping them back and forth. I'm sorry if the icons are a little small. I'd have to giga zoom in. This is really weird. So, getting rid of Sudden Demise for Twist the Knife is good. You can play weird stuff like this thing, where you play Zoldyck and 1, but no one does this because it's very strange. Funny enough, Dashing Scoundrel and Twist the Knife instead of Bone Spike is semi-reasonable. This would be a lot more single target, so I expect that some people might play around with it a little bit. And of course, you would do the same thing if you wanted to get Iron Wire, or you would drop Sanguine Blades for Iron Wire, right? Like, it's still the same talents. You would drop Sudden Demise, or Bone Spike, Doomblade for Iron Wire, or Sanguine Blades. Sanguine Blades is good overall damage, but it does 0, a fat big nothing in single target. So if you're concerned about your single target damage, it'd be like that, but also, yeah, you know, this is a talent that does nothing. So if you are concerned for your overall, take Sanguine Blades, take Sudden Demise probably, maybe drop Bone Spike, maybe drop Master Assassin. If you're concerned about your single targets, get rid of Sanguine Blades, get rid of Sudden Demise, get rid of Bone Spike, all the normal stuff I can yap for days. And then here comes the cook. So there's 2 cooks, 2 things that have been found. The first of which was kind of already found and is not this. It's the fact that shivving on less than 5 targets is not worth it without arterial precision. We already kind of knew that, but I just put it in sims. It's neutral, but if you do sustained AoE sims, it's like 0.7, 0.8% in sustained patchwork AoE sims. So keep that in mind. That is something that has been a thing for all of Season 1, but Shiv AoE doesn't buff Caustic Spatter unless you have Arterial Precision. Therefore, not a good GCD, not a good button. If you want to keep pressing Shiv, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. It's not really that much of a problem. But that is getting added into Sims, so you know. And now onto this thing up here. This is the actual cook of the patch. Now, this wasn't worth it in Season 1 because of tier being bad and then the buffs coming through and not enough item level and like all sorts of random stuff, right? However, as we get further geared, we get more mastery, the tier buffs and Venom really hard, it's not worth it to Shiv dry, as in not Shiv for Kingsbane or Deathmark. However, there's a very specific rule with this, which I will show you in-game, because we are shivving for Lingering Darkness. And more specifically than that, we are shivving the Darkest Night that happens in Lingering Darkness with Supercharger. So Supercharger, if you don't know, this is the rework to Echoing Reprimand, right? It makes your finishers count as if they spent additional combo points. With Forced Induction, that's up to 3. So a 7 combo point in Venom counts as a 10 combo point in Venom. Then Darkest Night is 60% stronger, guaranteed to crit. Shiv is 30% nature damage. Then you have Amp Poison, which is 35% damage. You have Twist the Knife and Rapid Injection, which is 10 and then another 10. You have Zoldyck, which is another 30% if you're in execute range. And then finally you have Lingering Darkness, which is 30% nature damage. So all of this comes together and you do a big kaboom of an Envenom and it hits like a truck. So in practice, the way this would look, right, is I'm just going to do a stock standard opener, just like always, right? All of this is still normal, mind you, right? This is just an opener. Don't really have to pay too much attention to it. Gonna Shiv, Vanish, again, right? So far, so good. And then once Deathmark expires, we'll get Lingering Darkness. See, I'm tracking it here. This is as 30 seconds. This is increased nature damage. Now, where this comes into play is towards the end. Towards the end, right, you'll see I'm getting down to like 10-ish seconds. And I have Darkest Night. So here I would Shiv and Venom. And that's all you would do. That is the optimization, right? At the end of your Lingering Darkness, you have a Darkest Night that naturally lines up. If you have a Darkest Night that naturally lines up, you would press Shiv in order to get your Supercharger, build to 7, and Venom in your Lingering Darkness. And then when this Kingsbane comes up, you just Kingsbane normally, right? No Shiv. And just like an M+, with 1 charge of Shiv, you would wait, and then you would Shiv the end of the Kingsbane. Right? So super simple stuff. And then, you know, no Lingering Darkness, so this all lines back up. You have 2 charges of Shiv again for your Deathmark. Go next, right? Just rinse, repeat every 2 minutes. And that is 0.5% in single target. This is also what you would do in M+, technically, but again, in M+, a little bit strange because Shiv and AoE isn't worth it. Sorry. My water is catching up to me. It's coming up. But yeah. That's the optimization. No tuning. Waiting for tier tuning, waiting for trinket tuning, waiting for spec tuning, waiting for everything tuning. I've heard some specs are simming in single target at like 2.7, almost 2.8. Subtleties tier bonus is like 23%. Absolutely insane. Ours is a combined like 4. So lots of numbers don't make sense yet. I will, of course, make more updates as they are needed. Otherwise, have a good one. Bye. Let me know what you think in the comments. I will try and answer questions if you have questions. Have a good one. See you next time.